Good morning, everybody. I know it'll probably take a couple minutes for people to come on because I didn't exactly plan this ahead of time. Anyway, I just wanted to, sorry, I just wanted to check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing this morning. I don't have my little one this morning, and I'm the only one awake besides the cats and the dog. So I figured I would take a minute to say hello to everybody. So good morning. I don't really have anything specific I wanted to talk about. Just wanted to check in with everybody. So, good morning. How's it? Well, I see I have one person on here. How are you doing this morning? Um, just got up a few minutes ago. Kind of overslept. I was supposed to take one of the cats to the vet this morning, but hi, Barbara. How are you this morning? Kind of, like I said, I just got up a little while ago. I was supposed to get up and take one of the cats to the vet this morning, but I kind of overslept. So, anyway, just out here hanging out. Little one's still at my mom and dad's. Good morning, Tony. How are you this morning? Sorry. Little one still is at my mom and dad's. She spent the night there last night and they haven't brought her home yet. So it's just me and the cats and the dog. Sorry, my hubby's still asleep. So sorry about that. Anyway, no talk, Tony. Paid bills and feel good about it. I do not blame you. That is always a good feeling to get those bills paid off. So keep clicking the wrong button. Sorry. I'm so far behind on most of my bills. It's not even funny. I am sorry, y'all. Got something caught in my throat. Oh, Bella's gonna come up here behind us. Barbara, you just woke up too. Yeah, like I said, I was supposed to get up early this morning and take one of the cats to the vet. Well, I guess so. He'll be all right until Monday. He's just got Gizmo. I doubt y'all see him because he usually doesn't. He's not feeling in the friendliest of moods today. So he's got one of the cats has an eye infection. So he's sorry, y'all. He like I said, one of the cats has an eye infection, and he just happens to be the one that is like a tiger to wrestle into a cat carrier. Has the last time we tried there was. I'm sorry, y'all. The last time we tried, there was 3 adults, my husband, my mom, and myself, all trying to get this cat into a carrier. And after an hour and all of us being scratched up, we gave up. Um, we've decided that the vet's going to have to give us a sedative pretty much before we can bring him in, but I'm hoping this time he'll cooperate a little more. You have your Sandy cat in your arms, Tony? Oh. I bet she's pretty. Is it a boy or a girl? Yes, Barbara. That's what I told my husband. I said we need one of those things to get a blow dart into him because he said something about the vet said, "Well, I can give you some pills that you can give him like a half hour beforehand." I said, um, "Giving him a pill is even worse than trying to get him in a carrier." So yeah, he's a very sweet cat. He really is. He is a sweetheart. but until you try to put him in a carrier or give that cat a pill. Oh, so girl, my mom had a girl cat not long ago that was she was a tortie, but she was what they call a dilute tortie, kind of like Shelly. I think y'all have seen Shelly before, and I called her Sandy because of her sandy color. She was a stray, but that's the pill and tuna. Now that we did talk about that. I kind of thought about that. The only problem we have is when we get something like that out, all the cats come running. Then you have to separate the one out. And, but it'd be worth it if we can get him taken care of. His eye looks awful. I mean, he's had this recurring thing with his eye where it would flare up or whatever, then go away, flare up, go away, and we really thought it would just go away again, but it hasn't gone away, and it's been quite a while. And it looks extremely uncomfortable. Now, I do have a cat here with me. I know y'all can't see her, but she's hanging out with me. She likes to squeak at me. This is Sabrina. She's my buddy. Aren't you, Sabrina? And like I said, I got Bella back here attacking the curtains, or attacking the blinds. She does that. She doesn't do that much when I'm not on live. As soon as I go on live, it's like it's like I don't know, it's like a neon light goes on the blinds for her. No talk, Tony. Says Sandy is gray with shades of brown mixed in her fur. Yeah, this is so pretty. She sounds like she might be a dilute tortie too. That's what Shelly is. Oh, now Callie's up here with us, but y'all, I don't know if y'all can see her. This is Callie. Callie's a tortie. If y'all watch Tommy on the lifeboat, Squirrel to me looks like Callie. Hey, can you say hi? She likes to lick and bite like all the time. Now, like I say, I think I've said before, Callie's the one I like to kind of get riled up sometimes, and she'll wrestle with me. She's so cute. She was a stray born at my mom's house. Callie was, and I just fell in love with her. I had to have her and her brother. Look at this, y'all. She's licking my hand. That's all she's doing is just lick, 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 lick. I promise my hands are clean. And this girl right here, this one, last night she was drinking from the water bowl in the hallway, and Jasper went running in there to get him a drink. This is the one I told y'all about in the live stream last night. If you saw it in Cricket's live stream, she was getting a drink. She probably weighs maybe 7 pounds. Jasper weighs at least 22, I think, something like that, 21, 22. He went running in there to get a drink, and she looked at him. She didn't hiss. She didn't growl. She just looked at him and started meowing and giving him this mean look like I was here first. That dog cowered back and ran back to me. And he wouldn't get a drink till she was done. Sorry, y'all. That's Skylar going over the laptop there. But no, he wouldn't get a drink until she was done drinking. It was so funny. And then a little while later, I went out on the porch and went to come back in, and Jasper wouldn't come in. I could not get him to come in. And finally I looked, and Gray, which is Callie's brother, he'll be up here in a second. I see him eyeballing me. Was sitting there looking at him and wouldn't let him come in. I told my husband later, I said, you were so worried when we got Jasper that he was going to be mean to the cats. No, they bully him. My oldest cat, Barbara, my oldest cat knows if I put anything in the food. Yes, they do. They pretty much know. They know. But I think If all else fails with Gizmo, if I want him to eat something, I'm going to mix it in mayonnaise. I don't know why, but that mayonnaise is like a drug to him. I can open the mayonnaise jar from across the house and he will come running. I've never quite seen anything like that with a cat with mayonnaise. And this one, her addiction is Pringles chips. Like if I'm eating a Pringles chip, she'll come running from wherever she is and try to get them. So yeah, it's funny. But I feel like I'd spend most of my live streams talking about the cats, but I kind of can't help it. They crawl all over me. Barbara said, I just got 4 air tags and 4 cat collars with air tag holders. Reese's cat kid gave me the idea. Yeah. We don't. I thought about that with ours, but of course, there is so many of them that it would get a little costly at first, but most of them don't wear collars. And there is a reason for that. So I don't know if we could. I do at least need to get them all microchipped. Sorry, I need to get at least get all of them microchipped. But the only one that wears a collar is Squeaky, and it started out it was Lenny and Squeaky wearing collars, and we would color code them because they're twins. So we would color code their collars to be able to tell apart easier. Of course, now it wouldn't matter if they had their collars off or not. We know which one's which. But Savannah, my daughter, Squiggy is her cat. Like he has chosen her as his human. And we tried taking his collar off for a while. She didn't like him without the collar. So, it's like, you pick your battles when it comes to kids. Give me a drink here. Y'all got anything there with you? Anything to drink or whatever? Xenu, Marlene, y'all. Anyway, she didn't like Squeaky without the collar. And I had to take Lenny's off because I caught Squeaky dragging Lenny through the house by his collar. So even they are 20. Yeah. Barbara says, when I had a kitty that first time got out, a coyote got in with an hour's on. And that's so, I remember you talking about that. That was awful. And the 4 I have now have escaped on occasion. It scares me. Yes, it does. I had a cat years ago. We had an indoor-outdoor cat. And he is the reason I decided not to ever have another indoor-outdoor cat because I was still married to my ex-husband at the time, and I'm sorry, to when I hadn't brought Tigger in for the night, and he accidentally ran over him. It was really sad. I mean, we couldn't even find him until the next morning, but when we found him, it was too late. So I said after that, I would never have another one that went outside. And see, the way our house is, either to get to where the cats are not allowed in the garage, for one thing. Yeah, Barbara, it was sad. My oldest daughter, she's 21 now. She was like 5 at the time. Trying to explain to her what happened to her kitty was not easy. But yeah, but with our house, the cats don't go in the garage. So sorry, if we come in the garage, we just have to, that's not very often. We just have to make sure the garage door is closed before we come into the main part of the house. And now as far as with the front door, there's a screen. My front porch is screened in. So we just have a very strict rule about making sure the screen door is closed before the front door is open. And so far, knock on wood over here, so far it's worked. They do get out onto the porch sometimes, but then they can't go anywhere. You have a 21-year-old daughter too, Barbara? And mine will be 22, and she'll be 22 in July. So makes me feel old. I still remember the day she was born. But yeah, of course, and as y'all know, I also have a 4-year-old. 21 and 4. Yes, I started over. Yours will be 22 in March, Barbara. What day in March? I have several. A lot of my family has birthdays in March. My my oldest daughter will be 22 on July 20th. Yeah. And now, see, do y'all see why I call Sabrina my Velcro cat? She's pretty much just stuck. She's just anyhow. Sorry, somebody's down here scratching at something they probably shouldn't be. Stop that. Speaking of Squeaky, it's Squeaky. Hey, Squeak. He may not come up here. Him and some, well, there's Squeaky behind me. This one here, where'd he go? Oh, sorry, I don't know, wait a minute. Anyway, that one there that's my daughter's cat. Barbara, my oldest is almost 27. My mom was the 29th. Middle daughter was the 28th. And my oldest is the 6th. See, my great grandmother was on the 6th. Her birthday was her birthday was March 8th. And I have an uncle on the 1st, an uncle on the 17th. My mom on the 11th, a cousin on the 10th, a cousin on the 12th, my nephew on the 10th. Yeah, no, my nephew's the 12th. What's it like having such a huge age gap? I mean, of course, obviously wasn't planned to have it that way, but I mean, it works out. They get it sometimes. Honestly, I mean, which this kind of surprised me. They still sometimes argue just like sisters do. Not very often, but it happens sometimes. Even though my oldest doesn't live here, my oldest lives about an hour away. I think for me, having them so far apart, it gave me a chance to see. I mean, to kind of have a chance to look back and say, if I had when my oldest was growing up, I'd kind of look back and think, oh, if I just had that to do over again, I would do it different. And I feel like I'm doing that with my youngest. I'm doing the things that I would have done different with my oldest. I'm doing my youngest. I feel like I'm doing better in some ways. In others, I can't be in. When my oldest was younger, I was in my 20s, and I could get out and do more with her, as far as having the energy and stuff. Now that I'm in my 40s, I mean, I try, but it's kind of hard to keep up with the little one as much. But yes, Barbara, it is. It's just like having two firstborn children. They both have gotten the benefits of being an only child, even though technically the youngest has never been an only child. But my oldest moved out when my youngest was really little. Like she was just under 18 or right at 18 when she moved out, because she moved in with my parents for a little while. That's a whole different story. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like they're both getting the benefits of having all of my attention for a while. Well, not all of it, because with even though the one's 21, she still needs mom sometimes. But yes, the youngest is Savannah. The oldest one is Holly. I mean, Holly, like I said, Holly lives about an hour from me. Oh, thank you, Barb. Barbara. I see on here you said she is so adorable. Thank you. She's she's rotten. Both of them are rotten. Because not only, hi Susan. Not only do they both get the benefit of having my attention. See, my parents spoil them more than me. So they both have the benefit of having all of Grams and Grampy's attention. And in the case, now my oldest, she had all of her grandparents. She had her dad's side and my side until she was, her paternal grandmother passed away when she was 8, but her paternal grandfather, he just passed away February of 20, so 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. Then I'm sorry, I got it. My back's itching. But now with my youngest, my husband's mom actually passed away just a few months before we found out I was pregnant. And then his dad just passed away this year. So and his dad was never in good health while after she was born. He was put in a nursing home before she wasn't even a year old when he had to go into a nursing home. So she's never really gotten the chance to stay with. She never got the chance to really know what it was like to have my husband's parents. Now, she knew her pawpaw, but she never knew him outside of being in a nursing home. But now with my youngest, she had both sides. On my side of the family, my oldest, she had both sets of grandparents spoiling her. So on my side, she was the only grandchild at that point because my sister doesn't have kids. And on my ex-husband's side, she was the youngest by like a lot. But now they did my ex's brother did eventually adopt a little girl that was only a year younger than mine. So, but before that, she was my mom was the youngest for quite a few years. But yeah, she which that was interesting when they adopted Abby, my niece. My daughter was all excited about having a cousin her age until she realized that she was going to have to share her grandparents and her aunts and uncles. She didn't like that idea, but it worked out. Xenu Marlene, y'all. I don't have the cool overlays like Marilyn does to put up there. So, hey, did y'all get to watch Austin last night on Marilyn's channel? Barbara says, has anyone checked out Atypical Paul? He's really good. He talks a lot about anxiety. It's kind of nice to hear it from a guy's perspective. No, I've seen him in chats, but I've never checked out his channel. I need to go check that out. Thank you for the recommendation. But yes, I will definitely look into that. But yeah, Susan, you saw Austin last night? I'm pretty sure I saw all of y'all in the chat, in Marilyn's chat last night. He was so good. He's especially for just being 23 and last night, he didn't feel good. He did so good. Susan says, I did not know Paul had a channel. I didn't know either. There's a lot of people that have channels that I don't realize they have them. Most people probably don't realize I have one. Barbara, I thought I saw you in there. Maybe I just imagined that. Barbara said I didn't get a chance to see Marilyn and Austin last night. You should go check it out, Barbara, on the replay. He didn't feel good, but he still did really, really good. And yes, Susan, you're so right. He's got a lot of talent. And I love when she says he's coming on there. It's Barbara says it's atypical Paul. He's an animal lover. Bonus points. Yes, definitely. Anybody that loves animals gets bonus points with me. My one of the biggest bones of contention I have with my ex-husband is he would claim that he was an animal lover, but he had no patience with them. None. It got to the point where I was honestly worried about leaving the house because I said I wasn't going to talk about him on here, but we'll just say that he hurt my animals before and leave it at that. Now, as far as with the cat I was talking about that he accidentally ran over, that truly was an accident, and I know that. But so when he and I split up and I was dating, after we divorced and I was back to dating us, I was like, I'm not gonna get with anybody unless I know for sure that they do love animals and they don't just say, oh yeah, I'm an animal lover, and then have no patience with them. At the time I had 3 dogs. Susan said, going back to talking about Austin, Susan said his voice sounds a little like Bon Jovi. I think so too. I agree. Yeah, so when Scott and I first met, we met on a dating site, and when we were talking, like I said, I had 3 dogs, and I had went out on a couple of dates with a guy before that told me that having 3 dogs was too many. There are a lot of people in this world that have way more than 3 dogs, but anyway. So I told Scott when we were talking, I said, I hope you don't mind that I said I have 3 dogs, and he said only if you don't mind that I have 7 cats. That was it for me, and I knew he was the one. Barbara says my husband is allergic and hated cats. Now he thinks there is. It's funny. Yes, that has happened. There was a few times with animals like that. Yes, Barbara, he had 7. We now have way more than 7. But we have 15 now. But like I said, all of them are rescues. They all seem to just show up needing us for some reason, and we would realize later that we need them. Barbara said they are my cats. My my husband and I joke that one of the reasons we can't ever get divorced is not only because of Savannah, but also because we don't know how we split up the cats. But I remember when we were little, my grandmother came to live with us. I think I was like 6, I think, when she moved in. And she had a little miniature dachshund whose name was Hunts. Well, first, we had just lost our Saint Bernard that was my parents' dog before my sister and I were born. And which was really hard on well, I mean, it was hard on us, my sister and I, but I think it was even harder on my parents because they knew, we were really too little, I think, to understand what was going on when we lost her. But it was really hard on them, and my dad decided then and there that he was never going to get attached to another dog. So when my grandmother moved in with Hunts, at first it was no problem because that was her dog. He was attached to her. He followed her everywhere. If she went to the restroom, he would wait outside the bathroom for her. That was her dog. Well, then when Grandma passed away and we inherited the dog, Dad was still, he was never mean to him. Dad would never be mean to an animal. But he tried to kind of stay kind of standoffish, I guess, at first. He would pet him and stuff, but he wouldn't be like overly affectionate, I guess. I don't know what I'm looking for there. But he decided he was not getting attached to this dog because they had just lost Missy, the Saint Bernard, and he wasn't getting attached to Hunts. Yeah, within a couple of years, I remember, just to give you an example, my parents were going out recliner shopping, and my dad would sit down in the recliner, kind of look to the side, look back forward, say, "Nope, not enough room for the dog. On to the next one." So yeah, he got real attached to him. Like I said, he picked his recliner solely based on the fact that it was comfortable and enough room for the dog. Barbara says, I don't know if I clicked the right one. Barbara said, that's a lot of litter. Holy cow. Yeah, it's a lot of litter. I have 2 litter robots, and unfortunately I also have 3 regular boxes. Yeah, we really are supposed to have more boxes than we have, but we have 5 huge litter boxes all throughout the house. I mean, it works, but we were supposed to have, we really are supposed to have more. Barbara says, my English bulldog, sorry y'all, my English bulldog passed away 2 years ago. I'm so sorry. They are definitely part of the family. They take part of us with us when they go. She says, I still miss him so much. He was one of my soulmates. I'm not crying. I understand. Back in October of 20, I had a husky that he was supposed, not a him, or her. So back in October of 20, I had a husky that was, we had a couple of rescue, male and female, that we had rescued. Well, we didn't spay and neuter fast enough. We had puppies. Well, we kept one of the puppies, and it was a girl. Red and Spike were the parents. Red was the mom, Spike was the dad. And we kept one of the puppies, and we named her Smokey. She had a big old gray patch on her back. Well, literally, Red didn't trust many people, but she trusted me. She says huskies can be a handful. My dog slept 23 hours a day. Yeah, they can be a handful. They are escape artists, that's for sure. But I was one of the only people. Sorry, y'all. I got a cat here in my coffee over here is bugging me. Red was. Red. I was one of the only people Red trusted. So she actually allowed me to hold her puppies when they were not even a day old. Not that I was deliberately going out there to handle them, but it was just looking at them, making sure they were okay. We were out of town. When we didn't even know she was pregnant. I had never had a pregnant dog, so I guess I didn't know what I was looking for, and it was getting close to winter, so she had all this extra fluff, the winter fur. So I just somehow didn't notice. But we were coming back from my now ex-husband, his side of the family. There had been a death in the family, and we were out of town for the funeral. We were on our way back. My mom called and said she spelled the word out because she didn't want my daughter, who was 7 at the time, to figure it out. But she said, we have PUPPIES, and I was like, we have what? And I heard my daughter in the back say, we have puppies? Because apparently, Mom had gone there without my daughter to feed the dogs. Anyway, I got home. I went out to check on her and check on the puppies. There was 5 of them, and anyway, I was holding them, just to make sure they were okay. And I was surprised that with anybody else that can't even come near the doghouse, Reb was sticking her head out and letting them know no, they weren't coming. But with me, she actually let me pick them up. So anyway, with Smokey, as long as it wasn't you pregnant and not noticing, I don't know how that would happen. I know it's happened before, but I don't see how. But anyway, she when we kept Smokey, which they were all cute and stuff, but we really got attached to her, so we kept her. And sorry, 4 days. She was 4 days shy of being 11, and Barbara says that's because maybe you were the alpha, the leader of the pack. I don't know. I mean, she just with Red, she didn't trust Easy. She had the people I got her from were great, and I knew that they weren't the ones that were mean to her, even though they'd had her from a puppy. But I think they had a neighbor that would come over and was mean to their dogs. There's a whole long story behind that, but when they weren't home, they found out that they had a neighbor coming over being mean to the dogs. But anyway, I think that's why she didn't trust people, but she did trust me. But anyway, Smokey was 4 days shy of being 11 when well, first I took her to the vet, regular vet I had at the time, because she was, she didn't want to get up and walk. She was obviously in pain, and I took her there, and they said she had pyometra, which is basically an infection of the uterus, because my own, we didn't have much money back then, and then once she got older, we didn't get her spayed. And once she got older, I was afraid to put her under surgery to get spayed. So anyway, sorry, Barb, I do tend to tell a lot of long stories. Barb says you got long stories. I'm here to hear. Sorry, but yeah, she so I took her to my vet. They said she had pyometra, which was basically what pyometra is an infection of the uterus. But I got really mad because we had been going to this vet for years and years, like 40 plus years, because my parents actually started going to them. And the vet told me that Smokey needed emergency surgery or she was going to die. So I said, okay, when do we do it? We can do it right now. I'll leave her here with you. Y'all can do it today. And she said, oh, we don't have a slot to do a surgery today. You'll have to call around to see who can do it. You don't have a slot for emergency surgery? This not like this place was just a one veterinarian place. They had like 8 or 9 vets there. I was livid, and my mom was with me too, and she was absolutely livid. Well, I went out on Facebook that night trying to find out, what we could do, or where I could take her. Yeah, that Barbara, that was actually kind of my reaction. I've never been back in that, because I found a friend of mine that is a dog breeder that is very, very picky about who touches her dogs. Recommended a vet to me, and I knew if she recommended this vet, he was good. So I called the vet. He's not very far from my house, and explained to him what was going on. The actual vet himself called me back. Susan says, I'm still here pulling out summer clothes for my cruise next week. Susan, where are you going? I want to go. But anyway, the vet himself, I called him and left a message at first, and the vet himself called me back. And when I explained to him what had happened, he said I'll do surgery on her tomorrow, because this was at their closing time or whatever. But he said I'll do it tomorrow. Have her here first thing in the morning. So I did. This vet didn't know me. He didn't know my dog. He didn't know any of us. And yet he was going to do the surgery faster than my own regular vet. Needless to say, that veterinarian is now my vet because he was really good. But he turns out not only did they deny giving her surgery, they misdiagnosed her. My dog didn't have pyometra. She had cancer. And it had spread really quickly. And sorry, y'all, I did not mean to ramble on about this, but yeah, she's I ended up having to put her down that day. Howdy, crowd and Dawn. Hi, Maya. Yeah, I wound up having to put her down that day. And it absolutely broke me. I raised that dog from birth, and as they put her down, she was giving me kisses, trying to comfort me. So she was just an extreme, one of these days I'll have to, let me see, I can show y'all a picture of her. She was a beautiful, beautiful dog. I miss her. I miss this dog. We were actually just talking about her last night. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to leave my phone on because with my little one, with my mom in case something happens. But yeah, we were actually just talking about Smokey last night and some of the more unique attributes that she had. She could sense danger like any other dog I've ever seen. I don't know why, but she could. Let's see. I want to show you. I'm sorry, I just want to show y'all a picture of her because she was so pretty. This right here, y'all can see that. Sorry, I'm trying to get it right up to the camera. I keep forgetting where my camera actually is on this thing. There it is. Can y'all see that? That's my Smoke. This is my favorite picture of her. Barbara says, thank you, Maya. Thank you, Susan. Maya, I'm so sorry. Losing a pet is so hard. Yes, I'm sorry. It scrolled in the middle of when I was trying to read. Oh, there we go. Losing a pet is so darn hard. Yes, it is. And thank y'all. She was my baby. Tampa. Barbara says, I left my old vet. I brought my dead bulldog to 2 weeks earlier, and it was the end of COVID. I was in the parking lot and asked to pick up my cat's food. They said it was past a year since they saw them and wouldn't sell it to me. I said, if you don't sell me the food, then when I drive away, I'm never coming back, and I haven't been back. I don't blame you. And thank you, Barbara. She was my girl. Anyway, sorry, I'm trying to get it. Sorry about the camera getting shaky there. I need to get like an actual desk to put my laptop on, but my laptop really is a laptop now. It's actually in my lap. This is I think y'all briefly saw her a minute ago. Sorry to kind of put her butt in your face there for a minute, but this is Callie. She's so sweet. She's the one that we took in already pregnant. Oh, Susan, I'm so sorry. Susan said my sister had to put her poodle down yesterday, my pup niece. I'm so sorry, Susan. It's so sad. They are part of the family. My sister had 2 Yorkies and a German Shepherd, and between November of 22 and November of 23, she lost all 3 of them. It was bad. It was awful. Barbara says it was good. Supposedly needed it. I had 6 cats and one very high maintenance bulldog. Pay for at least one vet's card. Exactly. Between all these cats and there's a cat here in my coffee again. I'm sorry, y'all. Between all these cats and Jasper and all the other animals we've had. Yeah. Sorry, I keep seeing cat hairs in my coffee. Or maybe it's me hairs. I do shed a lot. But anyway, with all these animals, I'm pretty much, I think we've probably bought the vet's house by now. But the vet we have now is really good. He doesn't, one thing I've learned is that he doesn't suggest needless tests or anything. I really think sometimes I wonder if some vets don't suggest tests or whatever. But doesn't mean I don't think most of them would, but sorry. Maya says I don't have human kids. I've had dogs for 20 years and they absolutely were my kids, my babies. At one point I had 3, but now I have 1 left. Yes, they do become like they are. They're babies. You're part of the family, And I'm so sorry about the 2 that you've lost. Sorry about that. I had comment, which y'all may have seen. Y'all may have seen him on a picture of him on Cricket's channel. After Red and Spike passed away, I felt like Smokey. I had a Jack Russell and Beagle mix, which he's actually still alive. He's at my parents' house, but his name was Bugs. But I felt like, oh, and y'all, if I freeze, I'm sorry. My internet is being squirrely, but I just felt like Smokey needed a playmate her size because she was used to having her parents around. So I just felt like she needed a playmate her size. So I got Comet. It took a couple weeks for them to get used to each other, but after that they were the best buddies. But we just lost Comet August 23rd of 23. To kidney failure. But he was Rottweiler, Husky, and Shepherd. Very unique looking, but not the brightest of dogs, but very sweet. But after he passed away, I had always wanted a beagle. That was one of the breeds that was kind of on my bucket list that I always wanted one. Well, then, just not long after Comet passed away, I came across, I was looking on a group for, sorry, I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was like a free to a good home type group for animals. And I just happened to come across a lady that had rescued a beagle. She said beagle mix, but he looks full beagle to me. She had rescued him from like an abuse type situation, and needed somebody. She needed somebody to. She couldn't keep him, so she needed somebody to take him in. So I did. He's here, and he is my shadow. That's my Jasper. Y'all have seen pictures of him, I believe. He is now. I keep looking over because he's now asleep in his dog bed. Apparently, he's enjoying it while the cats have decided to let him enjoy his own bed for a little while. They usually take it over. Barbara says, "Comment. I love that name. Thank you." We were trying to figure out a Christmas name for him because we got him December 23rd, and I put a post on Facebook asking asking people to basically to suggest names, and one of my friends suggested Comet, and it just fit him. Barbara says, I had a beagle that lived behind me and barked incessantly. Yeah, that's one of the drawbacks about Jasper is when he's outside. He's not as bad when he's inside, but when he's outside, I figure he's just letting the whole neighborhood know he's glad to be alive because he barks a lot. So I try not to leave him out there long because I know he drives people crazy. Maya said, and it's so heartbreaking that it's your duty to make the decision that their life is over. Yes, I know. I always end up feeling bad because I'm like, what if I made the wrong decision? But Barbara says, Maya, it's awful. I had to decide with my diabetic cat. It's awful. Yeah, I had to make that decision way too many times. Let's scroll back up here. I missed this one a minute ago. Barbara says, I go to a non-profit vet now, $120 for 4 yearly exams and vaccines. Incredible. I bring TNRs and it's free. That's a really good deal, Barbara. We have a place here that will spay and neuter TNRs, but it's like $25 a cat or something like that. Barbara says, I'm into space, so I immediately thought of a comet flying through space. Yeah, a lot of people thought that. Actually, there's some of those, you see those games sometimes on Facebook where it says post a GIF. You type in your pet's name and post the first GIF that pops up and see if we can guess it. Every time I tried that with Comet, it was Haley's Comet. It would show a picture of. I'm sorry, y'all. Callie likes to bite toes if I leave my feet hanging down. So I'm having to pick my feet up or my cat will stop biting my toes. Stop, y'all. Susan says, wow, my two dogs with shots meds are $800. Yeah, they get expensive. My mom has always told me that there is no such thing as a free pet, and she's right. They're not free. Even though, especially like with Jasper, I didn't actually pay anything for him, but I have paid for. I'm sorry. I gotta find something to put over my coffee. It's driving me insane. I have a lid. I just forgot to grab it. But yeah, even with Jasper, yeah, I didn't pay anything for him, but there's vet bills and stuff. I've got to tell you, he's gonna have to go to the vet too because he's had a couple seizures since we got him. Which I contacted the lady that I got him from and asked her if she was aware of him having seizures before, and she was not. So I don't know if he had them and she just didn't know, or she said, now he does get overheated sometimes. No, he drools a lot when he has the seizures, but it's not because of being overheated. Barb says, Susan is just insane. My bulldog was $1,000 every time with in there. Yeah, it's a pretty penny. Susan says, time to vet shop. And for my fur babies, I will pay for it. Yes. I think people know that. They know we'll pay whatever we need to pay for our animals. They said they are our kids. Barbara says, look for a nonprofit. They love animals so much they're willing to not. Sorry. They're willing to not get paid one day of the week and work there. It's called Harmony Vet. It's called Harmony Vet Care. Maybe there are more than one. Maybe they're in more than one state. I may have to look into that. See if there's anything like that here. But even though, like I said, the vet that I have, I really like him. He knows his stuff. Actually, the vet that we're going to now, he apparently a few years ago he retired, He's been doing this since for like 30 or 40 years, and he retired, and he actually people were wanting him to come back so bad that he actually came out of retirement because he was in such high demand. And now that I've been there to him, I see why. He's very good. Barbara says prescriptions are so cheap there. Um, we usually end up taking ours to like Walmart or something. Though usually my vet will give me whatever. If he can, he'll give me the medicine that's on like their $4 list or something, and we'll just get it filled at Walmart. Sorry, my cats are going crazy over there. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so anyway. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate to keep shaking the camera, but every time I try to put my feet down, somebody's attacking my toes down there. um, yeah, I figured I would, Susan, we had a dog that had seizures if not fed on schedule. Doctor told me to put a small bit of Karo syrup in his mouth and it helped. And Barbara says, I will and have paid anything to take care of my furry kids. Susan, I really didn't think about, Jasper is on a sort of on a schedule. He's not like, you gotta be fed exactly at 1 o'clock or he gets sick or anything like that. But, he's kind of on this loose weekend schedule of, within an hour or two when we get up to, it's when he gets fed first. And then, when it starts getting dark, maybe a little later, sometime between it getting dark and us going to bed, he gets fed again. Susan says it's like almost diabetic. That may be worth looking into. I've kept notes on when he's had the seizures he's had. Maybe I need to start adding in there whether or not he's eaten. Barbara, when you said, I will and have paid anything to take care of my furry kids, you're so right. I have done without things many times to make sure that my animals and my kids had everything they needed. Maya says, my first dog was sick a lot, and my goodness, I spent a lot of money to vet, but never regret it. Exactly. Barbara says, I had a pit bull that he wasn't fed at exactly 5. He'd eat trees, pull nets, and anything to get his point across. Yeah, Jasper. Now, Jasper, I can feel your pain there because Jasper will, if I'm later than normal feeding him, like if I'm not within those first hour or two getting up, he will try to. I call him my little Hoover because he will eat any little thing he finds on the floor. He's that's when he tries to get in the garbage when he's hungry. But anyway, he's a character. I tell you that. This Jasper's a character. He follows me everywhere. Sorry, y'all. Actually, this is not the eye that I recently had surgery on. This is the one that this one, the one I had surgery on. I'm trying really hard not to rub it, but this one here, it's the one that's been giving me problems. Susan says mine start trying to lick at my husband's face and have a certain bark. Yeah, that's Jasper. Maya says if my dog gets too hungry, he will throw up. Yeah, Jasper's done that before. So I always have to make sure that he eats enough. Sometimes I have to force feed him even. Yeah. We had a dog when I was, I think I was 17. We had a couple of dogs that stayed in the, and yes, I have always had eye problems. They've just gotten worse over the last couple of years. But when I think I was around 17. Yeah, I think I was 17. We had two dogs that stayed out back together. Um, Duke, he was a collie and Keeshond mix, and then there was Mickey. She was a Australian Shepherd and Springer Spaniel mix. Um, Duke was a lot older when we got Mickey. Duke was already older, and it was so interesting to watch them together because, like, Duke got to where he was almost blind and almost deaf, and if we called him and he didn't hear us, Mickey would go get him. Like, she would go in his doghouse and get him, and they became very bonded. Well, when Duke passed away, Mickey stopped eating. She was a she literally was grieving herself to death, and I would have to go out there and 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 hand feed her. And like you were saying, I basically had to force feed her because she wouldn't eat. You know, it was really sad. It took a couple of months, or maybe a little bit longer, for her to kind of get back to herself. It was just really sad. Barbara says, Maya, my bulldog was allergic to oxygen. Not really, but she was a hot, expensive mess. She was an actual Georgia Bulldog. Her great great grandfather walked Herschel Walker to get his Heisman Trophy. Wow, that is awesome. I have a I have a friend that had a bulldog that was, somehow one of his ancestors had had was an actual Georgia Bulldog, and she named him Uga, UGA. Mine says, I have a huge problem with dry eyes. I even have scars on my retina from blinking. Yeah, mine dry out like super fast. I don't know if you have a. I don't know if you had if you've ever heard of Sustain. It's a. I don't know if y'all have it there, but here it's something that we can buy over the counter. It's an eye lubricant or whatever, but it's really helped me. Thank you, Barbara. Barbara says, "Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry, Dawn. Thank you." Yeah. Susan says, "Sad. My dog did that. We had to get another dog." Yeah, we had talked about that with with Mickey, but we just ended up. She became best friends with the cat, so it worked. Barbara says her mom was Gloria of Athens and her dad was Benny Bag of Donuts from Jersey. I love that. I'm sorry, that was funny. Um, when I worked years ago, I worked at Taco Bell, and I was in the drive-through. That was my favorite place to work. Um, there was a lady that would come through all the time that had a white bulldog, and her name was Sugar. She was the sweetest dog, and I mean the most well-behaved dog I've ever seen. I mean, she never got excited or tried. She could sit there with the windows rolled all the way down, and Sugar wasn't going anywhere. She was the neatest dog. Maya says I have some eye drops from the doctor I use. Good. I hope they. I mean, I hope they help. Dry eyes is miserable. Barbara says my bulldog Dozy didn't produce tears. Eyelid lift, lost an eye, and drops an ointment several times a day. High maintenance. Yeah, sounds like it. One of our cats only has one eye. I just saw her a minute ago. Yeah, Miracle only has one eye. She was Barbara says you can't have sugar without Ugga. But yeah, like I said, one of our cats only has one eye. Miracle, she was pretty sure she was tossed from a moving vehicle, and it wound up like causing an infection in her eye. This is before we got her, so she was probably 6 to 8 weeks old, I guess, when she had her eye removed. She doesn't. She don't know if she's missing anything. She's 6 years old now, or close to it. No, 7 years, almost 7 years old now. Yeah, she don't know if she's missing anything. Barbara, hubby's an excited Georgia Bulldog. Well, I happen to agree with hubby. I love me some Georgia Bulldogs. I was born and raised here in Georgia. Um, I don't watch them as much anymore, but I do love me some Georgia Bulldogs. Maya says my dog gets a shot once a month for his arthritis, 100 each month. Wow, Maya, that definitely would start to pile up there, but they're worth it. Anyway, I am so glad y'all are here this morning. I didn't think I was going to be child free this long today, but I guess my parents aren't ready to bring her home yet. But anyway, I think that's about all I have for this morning. Been a little over an hour. This is the longest live feed I've done yet, y'all. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like delve into some sad things with with the animals. Anyway, and yes, I'm hoping, definitely planning to do it. Hoping to maybe lay down and take a nap before they bring her home. Yes, Barbara. Yeah, I know bending over and picking stuff up off the floor for a while, which I actually did ask them about that when I went for the recheck. I asked the doctor if I could bend down now, and he said I can, which and I'm just not supposed to lift anything heavy. Barbara, we are here for it all, Dawn. Thank you. Why is there no such Barbara? No such thing here, sadly. I think I missed. Oh, you're talking about the nonprofit vet. Hoping there's one near here. I would love to be able to find one with so many cats, especially it gets expensive. We just had to take a cat to the vet last month because she was having some stomach issues. Now we got to take one to the vet this coming week. But anyhow, y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here and I haven't even had breakfast yet, so or I guess it'd be brunch now, lunch. I'm gonna go on here and get something to eat. But I hope y'all have like I said, y'all have a great weekend. I will be I'll be around later, I'm sure. So I'm sure I'll see y'all in some other chats. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Bye, y'all. Have a good day.